Hey there, internet denizens. Prepare to have your minds blown, because tonight we're diving into a book that's about as subtle as a Mark Zuckerberg privacy policy update. We're talking about a book that doesn't just nudge you to think differently, but practically shoves you off the cliff of conventional wisdom. Technofeudalism, What Killed Capitalism by Yanis Varoufakis. This isn't just another book on economics, it's a manifesto, a call to arms, and a deep dive into the murky waters of our digital age. Varoufakis, with his razor-sharp intellect and knack for storytelling, takes us on a journey through the rise and fall of capitalism, leading us to the unsettling reality of techno-feudalism. Now, I know what you're thinking, John. Feudalism? That's so 11th century, even for you. But hold your horses, because this isn't the feudalism of knights and castles. No, this is a new breed, a digital reincarnation that's far more pervasive and insidious. But trust me, this ain't your grandpappy's feudalism. We're talking about a system where data is the new gold, and tech giants are the new lords. Imagine a world where your every move, every click, every like is monitored, analyzed, and monetized. Sounds dystopian? Well, welcome to techno-feudalism. We're talking digital moats, data overlords, and a whole lot of economic serfdom. In this brave new world, the tech companies hold all the power, and we, the users, are reduced to mere serfs, toiling away in the digital fields, generating data that fuels the engines of these tech behemoths. Buckle up, buttercups, it's about to get real. This isn't just a theoretical exercise, it's our reality. Every time you log into a social media platform, use a search engine, or shop online, you're participating in this new feudal system. And the worst part? Most of us don't even realize it. This book, folks, is a punch in the face to anyone who thinks Silicon Valley is all sunshine, rainbows, and free apps. Varoufakis pulls back the curtain to reveal the dark underbelly of the tech industry, exposing the ways in which these companies exploit our data and manipulate our behavior for profit. It's a wake-up call about the way big tech is quietly reshaping our world. And spoiler alert, it's not pretty. The conveniences and innovations that these companies offer come at a steep price, one that we're only beginning to understand. Varoufakis argues that we're not living in a capitalist society anymore, but something far more insidious, techno-feudalism. In this new order, the traditional capitalist model of competition and free markets is replaced by monopolistic control and digital surveillance. So, what exactly is techno-feudalism, and why should you care? Well, for starters, it fundamentally changes the way we interact with technology and each other. It creates a world where a handful of tech giants wield unprecedented power, shaping our economy, our politics, and even our personal lives. Well, my friends, that's what we're here to find out. Over the next few sections, we'll be dissecting Varoufakis' argument, exploring the terrifying world of digital serfdom, and asking the tough questions about where the hell we go from here. We'll look at the implications of this new system, the challenges it poses, and the potential solutions that Varoufakis proposes. So, grab your popcorn, sit back, and get ready for a deep dive into the world of techno-feudalism. It's going to be a wild ride, and by the end of it you might just see the world a little differently. Let's get started. Before we go full deep dive into the digital dystopia, let's take a minute to talk about the man behind the manifesto, Yanis Varoufakis. Varoufakis is a name that resonates not just in the corridors of academia, but also in the streets where real change is often demanded. His journey is as fascinating as his ideas, blending the worlds of high-stakes economics and grassroots activism. Now, Varoufakis isn't your typical stuffy economist, far from it. He's a man who defies the conventional image of an economist. Picture this, a man who can seamlessly transition from delivering a lecture on economic theory to engaging in a heated debate on the streets, all while maintaining a sense of style and charisma that's hard to ignore. This is a man who rocks a leather jacket and rides a motorcycle, which, let's be honest, is already more exciting than your average economics lecture. Imagine seeing him zoom past you on his bike, the wind in his hair, and you'd never guess he's one of the most influential economic thinkers of our time. His motorcycle isn't just a mode of transport, it's a symbol of his rebellious spirit and his desire to break free from the constraints of traditional economic thought. But don't let the cool exterior fool you, this guy's got brains to spare. Varoufakis is a powerhouse of intellect and insight. His academic credentials are impeccable, and his ability to dissect and explain complex economic phenomena is unparalleled. He's the kind of person who can make you see the world in a completely different light with just a few well-chosen words. We're talking a PhD in economics, a stint as the Greek finance minister during that whole Eurozone crisis thing, and a knack for explaining complex economic concepts in a way that even your Uncle Gary, who still thinks Bitcoin is a type of bird, can understand. His tenure as finance minister was marked by his bold and often controversial decisions, which were driven by his deep commitment to social justice and economic fairness. He's not just an economist, he's a storyteller who can weave intricate narratives that make even the driest economic data come alive. Varoufakis has never been one to shy away from a fight, especially when it comes to challenging the status quo. His passion for justice and equality is evident in every speech he gives and every article he writes. He's a man who believes that the world can be a better place, and he's willing to fight tooth and nail to make that vision a reality. He's been a vocal critic of austerity measures, globalization, and you guessed it, big tech. His critiques are not just empty rhetoric, they are backed by rigorous analysis and a deep understanding of the underlying economic forces at play. He's not afraid to call out the powerful and the influential, and his fearless approach has earned him both admirers and detractors. In Technofeudalism, he pulls no punches, taking on the titans of Silicon Valley and their enablers in government. His book is a scathing critique of the way technology is being used to consolidate power and control, and it's a call to arms for anyone who believes in a fairer, more equitable world. Varoufakis argues that we are living in a new kind of feudalism, where a handful of tech giants wield enormous power over our lives, and he's determined to expose and challenge this new order. He's basically the economic equivalent of a honey badger, fearless, relentless, and ready to take on anyone, no matter how big or powerful. Just like the honey badger, Varoufakis is tenacious and unyielding. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and take on the biggest challenges, and his courage and determination are an inspiration to all who seek to make a difference in the world. Whether he's writing, speaking, or protesting, Varoufakis embodies the spirit of resistance and the fight for a better future. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. We're living in a time of unprecedented change, and it's not just about the latest gadgets or the newest social media trends. It's about a seismic shift in the very fabric of our economic system. Varoufakis argues that what we're experiencing today isn't just a bit of late-stage capitalism but something far more transformative. It's a fundamental shift to a whole new economic system, technofeudalism. This isn't just a buzzword, it's a concept that redefines how we understand power, wealth, and control in the digital age. Imagine a world where the traditional boundaries of capitalism are being redrawn. Instead of competing for market share by selling products, companies are now vying for something even more valuable: our data. This data isn't just a byproduct of our online activities, it's the new currency in this emerging system. Remember those medieval times I mentioned earlier, with the lords and the serfs? Back then, land was the primary source of wealth and power. The lords owned the land, and the serfs worked it, giving a portion of their produce to the lords in exchange for protection and the right to live on the land. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but instead of land, the new currency is data. In this new system, the lords are the big tech companies like Amazon, Google, and Facebook. They control the platforms we use every day, and in return, we give them our data. These companies have become the new overlords, wielding immense power and influence. They don't just sell us products, they shape our experiences, our choices, and even our thoughts. They have the ability to predict our behavior, influence our decisions, and control the flow of information. See, under traditional capitalism, companies competed to sell us stuff, right? They produced goods and services, and we, as consumers, chose what to buy based on our needs and preferences. But in the brave new world of technofeudalism, these tech giants aren't just selling us products. They're extracting something far more valuable: our data. Every click, every search, every like, every embarrassing photo you accidentally posted after one too many tequila shots, it's all being collected, analyzed, and monetized by these digital overlords. They use this data to create detailed profiles of us, which they then sell to advertisers and other third parties. And here's the kicker. We're not just consumers in this system, we're also the product. Our data is being used to train algorithms, target us with ads, and even influence our behavior. It's a level of control and manipulation that goes far beyond anything we've seen before. Every interaction we have online, every piece of content we consume, every purchase we make, it's all feeding into this vast, interconnected system. And the more data we generate, the more powerful these companies become. It's a feedback loop that perpetuates their dominance and our dependence. We're not just passive participants in this system, we're active contributors. And the more we engage with these platforms, the more they learn about us and the more they can influence us. And here's the kicker. We're not just consumers in this system, we're also the product. Our data is being used to train algorithms, target us with ads, and even influence our behavior. It's a level of control and manipulation that goes far beyond anything we've seen before. Our data is being used to train algorithms, target us with ads, and even influence our behavior. It's like being trapped in a giant, personalized Skinner box, where the only reward is more targeted advertising for products we didn't know we needed. It's a system that thrives on our engagement, our clicks, our likes, and our shares. The more we interact, the more data we generate, and the more valuable we become to these companies. It's a never-ending cycle of data extraction and monetization. So, what does this mean for us? It means we need to be more aware of how our data is being used and who is benefiting from it. We need to demand greater transparency and accountability from these tech giants, and we need to rethink our relationship with technology and data in this new era of technofeudalism. The big shift is here, and it's reshaping our world in ways we are only beginning to understand. It's up to us to navigate this new landscape and ensure that the future of our digital economy is one that benefits everyone, not just the digital overlords. Now let's shine a light on the real villains of this story, the tech giants themselves. We're talking about companies like Amazon, the behemoth that's single-handedly crushing small businesses, while simultaneously convincing us to pay for the privilege of watching Jeff Bezos blast off into space. Then there's Google, our friendly neighborhood search engine that also happens to know more about us than our own mothers. And let's not forget Facebook, the social media giant that somehow managed to convince billions of people to willingly surrender their privacy in exchange for the ability to share cat memes and argue with strangers about politics. These companies, my friends, are the new feudal lords, ruling over their digital domains with an iron fist and a whole lot of algorithms. They control the platforms, the data, and increasingly, the very infrastructure of our digital lives.